Hello everybody, welcome to Brainy Films. This is class 4. And today this is an example of why you pay the big bucks and take this course. This is a film I think you would probably never see or have found without this class. People often ask me, how do you find these films? A couple of ways, but mostly how I find them is I read all the time. I read every blog, I read everything about film, and I follow certain actresses and directors. And this is an actress that I always follow. If she's in something, I'll watch it. Film may not be great, but she will always be worthwhile, and she doesn't do junk. So this is Julianne Nicholson. She's an American actress. And just an aside, if you take Brainy books, and we have just read Asymmetry, which was written by Lisa Halliday. These two, I've only put this together because I have been researching both of them, went to the same high school and grew up in Medford, Massachusetts, which is a Boston suburb, of course. Asymmetry is, to me, one of the great books of the year. I just find it odd. And then here is this actress. Okay, so anyway, that aside. They're both from Massachusetts. I just want to say one little thing now about independent films. This is definitely an independent film. The director is, well, he must have been like 38 or 39, Australian, was very active in Australian film, theater, TV. Of course, everybody is in TV now. Let me get you his name. Matthew Newton. So, I write it down, and then if I hear Matthew Newton somewhere, I'll be watching everything that he does. So that's just my way of following all this stuff, because there is no... People have asked me, what database do you go to find all these people and these... Database, as we know, is here. Okay, one sip of water, and I do have an aside with that. Recently, I sent a picture of me during this class when I was being filmed by the great director in our Chicago studio. And they saw that I was holding or had next to me. It's water. But if I want it to be wine, it can be wine. It can be what I want. But it is water. So, only sparkling water. I don't drink the other kind. Back to the film. Who We Are Now is the title. I hope you've seen it. If you haven't, lucky you, you'll go online now and see it. And you can find it various places. And independent films, I just want to say a couple of words about them. I don't know how the business works. I really don't. I think a lot of it is who you know, who knows. Obviously, Matthew Newton didn't have huge connections to get it released, or is it possible, and this is also possible, and something I'm always talking about. When people go to the movies, they go to see, all that explosion, to escape from their lives, to sit there and not think. That's fine. And that, I think, is mostly what we find with the younger, the millennials, the whole bunch. And I do understand it, but I don't go to film for that. I do other things than that to escape. I go to film, I want to see subjects that I think about. I want to see great acting, great directing. I want food for my brain. So there we are, and most of that comes out in independent film. And people who direct that, we can hardly say the name now, Harvey Weinstein, that company used to be the go-to company. God knows what will happen. But there are these small companies, and they distribute these films, and they put up money. So that's what we're talking about. This is, to me, a great independent film. Okay, so now I'll just put on my glasses because I want to tell you about a great film reviewer that I've just discovered, and he is with IndieWire, and his name is David Ehrlich. He wrote the best review of this film. I like to say and write my own thing, but I want to read you parts of his review because he got it, I think. And also, by the way, let me tell you, Emma Roberts, who is niece or something of Julia Roberts, is fantastic in this film. Jimmy Smits, whom you haven't seen for a while maybe, great. There's a lot of really good people appearing in the film. But back to IndieWire, David Ehrlich, if you're watching David, excellent review. So this was his headline. Who are we now? Julianne Nicholson proves once again she's one of the greatest actresses alive. And he wrote that at the Toronto Film Festival last year. He says, if there were any justice in this sick, sad world, Julianne Nicholson's performance here would earn her all the Oscars. Another reason why, I diss the Oscars. They don't even see some of the things we see. All right, so I'm going to read you little portions of his review. If there were, I just read you. If there were any justice, Julianne Nicholson, we know all that. And she's been in other things, and you'll just find that. She's 46 years old and more compelling than ever. Nicholson is doing some of her best work at a point in her life when most actresses are being callously aged out of their careers. I like that phrase. Continuing with the review, he is saying, there has never been a better showcase for Juliette Nicholson's talents than Who We Are Now. Told with the full texture of real life, Nicholson's second collaboration with the director, Matthew Newton, is a close-up character study that explores notions of forgiveness and self-worth with surgical precision. Who could not watch a film like this? I mean, who has not doubted their ability to forgive and their self-worth? Continuing with review, it's also a devastatingly authentic drama that's as guarded and unforthcoming as its protagonist. The only thing we're told about her character is her name. Everything else we're left to sort out, pry out, figure out for ourselves. And we meet her on a stormy New York City afternoon as she drops in on a married couple with a gift for their young son. I wish I could read you the whole review because he does so well, but I'm going to just skip to the end of it. Let me insert here. There are sequences in the film, I don't think he missed anything, that most women will recognize. This young woman, she's in bad shape and she so badly needs a waitress job. And what she goes through to get the job, it's so heartbreaking. It's so realistic. Sorry, but this is realistic life. Moving on. I keep saying anyway. I'm going to drop that from my vocabulary. Okay. Audiences have earned good reason to be wary of the micro-budget American indie that grapples with just these themes. And there are many places where this film could have gone wrong, but where it could have felt just trite and trickly. But Who We Are Now very seldom feels like it's just serving its big ideas, and it handles each of them with such a rare degree of specificity that it often seems like a movie without precedent. Watching the gears spin behind Nicholson's eyes, or the astonishing long take in which she finally bares her soul while struggling to save a piece of it for herself. Newton's writing surrenders to an ineffable honesty that blots out everything on both sides. In these scenes, it's truly possible to imagine that Beth can squeeze her life inside a single moment. Let me say, no film is perfect, and let me just say the male characters, very well done, well acted, but they're just supporting. They're supporting the narrative. And maybe it would have been nice if we'd filled it out a little bit, but they're there to support the story he is telling about this young woman. And this is not some off-the-wall, ridiculous life. I think this is a life, she's leading a life that, I don't need my glasses to talk. She's leading a life that many of us are familiar with, know somebody. I mean, she has things in her past, and unfortunately, and particularly in the computerized world we live in, you know, there's no fudging that. There's no hiding any of it now. Everything is there. I really am so proud to present this movie, or, you know, to guide you to it. And if you have not seen it, please do so. I am sending you in email form the New York Times review, which was sensational too. And please, let's talk about it. And you know, plus reply to all to that email if you want to, and everybody will see it. But you're also allowed to only reply to me, but all is much more interesting. A lot of you know just as much as I do and have very, very interesting comments on these films. Okay. So enjoy the film. Let me know. What else do I have to say to you? Oh, another sip of sparkling water. And I will see you next week. Goodbye.